Hello everybody. Today we are going to make something absolutely amazing. We're going to make some beautiful shower steamers in some Roman chamomile, which will be absolutely beautiful. So let's turn the camera around and we'll get going. All right, everyone, let's get going and make some beautiful shower steamers. So I'm going to make this in a gorgeous chamomile. So that's what I need to do for my site. And I will show you at the end as well, because I have professional boxes that have already been made. And that's what I actually put all of mine in. So first, I do have these gorgeous molds. So this is a little square mold. So this is their second smallest square mold from Lee Molds. And if you're looking for this, just go and look where the shampoo bar molds are. You can use these honestly for shampoo bars, also bath bombs. You can also make them, of course, for what I'm doing now. So anyway, we'll pop that aside because there's a few things we need to do first. So I have this beautiful container here. So this is organic Roman chamomile. So I'm using this. It's also been sitting in here in some jojoba oil, which is amazing. Now in here, what I actually have already is this is some isopropyl. So basically the easiest way to make this, because we have the menthol crystals in here, is we have a tablespoon of just some isopropyl. It's just a standard isopropyl, and then we are going to be putting these in here and letting them melt. So we're just going to give them a chance to melt a little bit. So let's turn my scale on here. We're going to have roughly about 5 grams of the crystals. There's no right or wrong. You can have more or less, and this is just going to help everything do the right thing, because the menthol is going to help the scent be even stronger. So all I'm going to do is just give this a little bit of a whiz in here. And usually what I do as well is then I'm going to put this in. We're going to use about 5 grams. So let's just pour this in here. And now we're just going to let this sit in here and do its thing while we get everything else ready. So let's just pop that aside so we know that's going to just sit here and do the right thing. I'll put the lid on. Now, I will tell you that the beautiful Roman chamomile is quite expensive, but we're only using a very small amount, so I'm sure you won't mind. This comes, I think it was actually Aussie Soap Supplies. I know this one's from Heirloom, but I do actually really like the one from Aussie Soap Supplies. That's really, really good. And of course, it's an essential oil. You know, look, a lot of people will tell you that you can't use fragrances in the shower steamers. You definitely can. The only thing is it really has no aromatherapy benefits, but you can definitely use it if you're just selling it to smell nice, and the menthols are going to help, clear the air for them anyway. So yeah, don't let anyone tell you anything's right or wrong with that. So now before we do it, I just have my simple bowl here. I don't need the scale quite yet, and all I'm going to do is put some bicarb in here. So I just have a little bicarb like this one. This is 500 grams. You can put it through a sifter if you want, but it's not like a bath bomb where it has to be super smooth and so on. You don't need to worry as much as you would a bath bomb. So literally, I'm just going to be putting this here. Remember, these are not bath bombs. You do need to make that very clear, because there is more essential oils in this than, you would ever put in a bath bomb. I don't use essential oils in my bath bomb. I use fragrance oils that come from registered suppliers. So anyway, like I said, for starters, we already have this in here, which is just a plain bicarb. Now, if you want to put a color in here, you can. Today, I'm going to put a very slight yellow, just the tiniest bit. And the reason for it is it just tells me which one's chamomile, which one's peppermint, which one's rose. It's, even though you can smell them, it's just good to have something that's a little bit different so we know exactly which one's which. So I'm just going to get a tiny bit of mica to add it in. Now we're just going to add a little bit of this, only a very little bit. Like I said, I really don't want much, because I really just want just a little bit, and it's really just for my own benefit, no one else's, but just so that I know which one's which. And I am going to add later on some polysorbate 80, and that is just so that nothing sticks anywhere, even though it probably wouldn't, because it is the smallest bit of mica. And if you think back to all the natural remedies that they have for cleaning, there's always bicarb in it. Bicarb is pretty good getting rid of lots of things. So So now that's the first bit that we've got, and now we're going to organize everything else that we want to go in here. So now once we've got that, all I'm going to do is just make sure that our crystals and everything have melted in here. If they haven't melted, you could easily put this in the microwave. It's not going to hurt anything to put them in there, but I'm just going to give it, some of them haven't totally melted, but most of them have, so I'm just going to pour in what is, and we'll let the others just sit here just for a few minutes. And all I'm going to do is just mix this up. This is what's going to give this gorgeous smell, and I tell you, it smells beautiful already. Now, do remember with a shower steamer, you don't need oils and things like that in, but often with my recipe, I do add a tiny bit of oil. It's just for a binder. There's no other reason. It's only the smallest amount, and I've just found that a tiny, like a teaspoon of oil, or half a teaspoon of oil, just really does help the mix. Now, already without that extra bit, it's smelling super strong, which is what we want. We definitely want this for a steamer, and you can see the color is just a slight yellow, which is good, isn't it? Because then it tells us this is our chamomile kind of color, so that I'll know. Definitely good if you're making lots of them, and today I have to make 200 of these for a wholesale order, so I definitely need to get going and just make sure that I get them as well all done. Now, if you're looking at selling wholesale, I actually do sell on Fair, so that's where most of my wholesale sales come from. Sometimes I get people message me direct, and I'm happy to help them with that as well. So that's a bit cool, isn't it? And anyway, but we are just going to mix this. Smells already gorgeous. As I said, please remember, this is definitely it's definitely not for the bath. It is only for the shower steamer, for the shower. And I just say to them, put it in the corner away from the water, so it's only just getting water hitting it. Now, we do put citric acid to help bubble it, but you don't want anywhere near the amount of citric acid that you would put in a bath bomb, because the more citric acid you put in, what actually that is telling you is that means it's going to fizz faster, and people won't be happy if this lasts 1 second and then goes. So I always put the smallest amount in. So just for this, I've got this. So this is only 75 grams of citric acid. You don't need any more. You could put 100 or 150 if you really want to. I'm just going to add that in here. But honestly, you don't need more than that. Like, really, you don't. So let me we're just going to do all of this. Just squish any bumps out that you have. And we've already put this in here, which, remember, it's alcohol, so it shouldn't expand this or anything like that. Now I'm going to add 25 grams of cream of tartar. So I've just set this on the scale so I can see what it is. Just a tiny bit more. Cream of tartar is going to harden up this, and we want this to be hard. We don't want it to be soft, otherwise it will crumble and fall apart. So just mix that in with your hands or the spoon, whichever one. You can also put this on a KitchenAid. Usually I would do this for a big batch, but I thought I will show you all how I do this, because lots of people are super interested, you know, when I actually make these ones as well. So we've done that one, haven't we? We've added in our oils. Now what we're going to do is be adding in some witch hazel. Now this is just going to wet it down. So basically this is my witch hazel here, up to 5 sprays. And I'm also going to just add 3 grams of polysorbate 80, and that's only because I have added the mica in here as well. And now I always add a little bit of oil in. As I said, it's just a binder. About another 3 grams, that's all. So you can see there's not much in it, and then literally we're going to mix it. So you want to mix it and rub it in your hands like so. Now the witch hazel is what is going to make this one stick together, because we want it to be a little bit more moist than what it is. And I'm just going to add in the remaining of this that we already did before. So like I said, just mix it up well in your hands. And if you do this, it just means that you're mixing everything in. It will smell super strong, so leave your door open. My actual studio door is open while I'm making this. And now, like I said, we want to add some sprays. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you don't want this to be super wet because the crystals actually react different to a bath bomb. And you want to be able to squeeze it in your hand, it stays together. This doesn't really yet, means it just needs a little bit more help. So you can add up to 10 sprays. It will just depend on your environment. Today in Melbourne it's very hot. It's about 30 degrees Celsius. Now, can you see that is a little bit crumbly, but it is sort of sticking together. But I definitely do not want to add any more witch hazel. So if you can see, it's quite clumpy and staying together. So now what I'm going to be doing is I am going to get my mold and make sure this all works perfect. So now we've got our mold already on here, and all we're going to do is just put it in here. Now the reason I have it on the scale is I measure up every single one of mine. So we're just going to measure that, pop the lid on, push it together, give it a little bit of a push, and then it should literally come straight out. And that's what it's going to look like. So here it is on my hand, and I can easily just take it off and put it on the tray, and you can see it didn't fall apart. So you should be able to hold it in your hand if you're doing it right. So now let's just keep going, and we will do the others as well. So now all of mine measure 45 grams. So what I'm actually putting in here is about 48 to 50, because that way when it starts to lose any water, which remember witch hazel is a plant-based, so it does have water in it due to being a plant base, so it will lose a tiny bit, maybe a gram or so. So that way I know that I'm giving everyone the right amount. And I will just keep going making these. So it's as simple as that, everybody. So I have given you the recipe throughout. I will also put the recipe down in the description as well. If you're on Patreon, just reach out to me and ask me any questions. If you have a question about it, every now and then I have people ask me a question, and that's fine. You can reach out on me here as well, just to find out any information. But you can see how easy this is. I will tell you how much, how many we get out of this. And at the end, I am actually going to show you me boxing them all up so you can see how I actually package them all. If you want to know about boxes, I actually got my boxes from, there's a few different places, but the company that I originally started using, and they're actually very good. So there's one of them is called a Massive, and I'll put their links down below for their website. There's another one called Printing Blue. Printing Blue is who actually did these ones for me, but the first company have actually done like diffuser boxes, and they are actually going to be doing some new boxes for me as well, for my body butters. And eventually I'm hoping that absolutely everything you know, will be professionally boxed, but this takes time. So don't be hard on yourself if you're struggling to, you know, get sales, because believe me, I understand. I've been there, and sometimes there is, you know, honestly, I've had times where I've had 2 months of no sales. but then sometimes I'll get 1 month and I'll get 3 months of sales in 1 month. So, you know, look, and we're in bad times. Like, I used to sell a lot more than I'm selling now, a lot more, but it will pick up again, you know. And if you bow out, somebody else will come in and take your place, and you know, and then they'll do well. So give yourself a 5-year plan, everybody, for any kind of business you're doing, whether it's this, a candle business, soap. I do sell a lot of candles. I get asked that quite often. And yeah, I do sell quite a lot of candles. Probably, look, candles are probably one of my biggest sellers, to be totally honest. And in my new shop that I'm building, we will have a section for candles, because I have a lot of people that want to buy them. Especially now that I've got my own professional jars made up. You know, and the longer you're doing this, the better you get at everything. And I mean, that's like even branding, packaging, you name it. You just get better every time. If you want to have a real successful business as well, why not come over and join us at our conference? I do actually own the Australian Soaping and Candle Conference. This year we do have 2 guest speakers coming in. So I have the beautiful Marie from Humble Bee and Me. I also do have Jazz. She is going to be coming in from Black Sunflower Candles. I'm sure that most of you know those ladies. They're amazing. I also have an Australian printing company coming in, which is Long Story Short Design, and they are fantastic. If you need labels, they are your girls. I promise you, they make ones that are absolutely so professional. As they say, they're not the cheapest, but they are the best, and I do agree with what they're saying with that too. Also have the candle business coach. She's coming in. She'll be amazing. The lovely Kirsty. So that's very exciting for her. I have Crafted Surprise. That's another company. So their products will be there for everyone to see and purchase if they want. Yeah, just so many amazing companies. I mean, I actually feel quite blessed to be able to do this, you know. And this is the thing, everybody. I didn't start with a conference. I started just making things, and before I knew it, then I set up a conference. Like, sometimes you just don't know what's going to happen, you know. So just be kind to yourself and realize this takes a long time. Anyway, we have finished, so I'm going to tell you how many we have got. Now, these will have to sit here for 24 hours. So after this one, I'm going to get on to the next one. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this makes 13 with a little bit extra. That's sort of just some crumbs left. I'll just get rid of those. I can't really do much with those, can I? But anyway, we will clean this out and go to the next one. But hopefully this has been a little bit helpful for you all to see what I'm up to. Good morning, everybody. It is the next day, and of course I do have my trusty heat gun. So now we are just literally going to heat gun these. I've already shrink wrapped these, and then I pop them in the box. Now, if you don't shrink wrap them, because they are essential oil, sometimes the little bits of oil, even though they are already, mixed up and they're just dried and everything else, sometimes you may see spots through the box. So you really do need to shrink wrap them, and I just think for anything in this industry, you need to wrap it or you need to protect it in some way. So anyway, I am going to get going with this one. So let's just get these all organized. are on the last bit. So we have shrink wrapped all of these. In front of me I have all of the boxes. So these are my boxes that I actually get made up. I got these ones here printed at a company called what is it, Blueprinting. So I will pop their links down below. So that's what it's going to look like when they're all finished. Don't they look amazing? Now, one thing to tell lots of you that you need to consider, which I did consider, but I really should have. They give you a sample of the box when they make it, and I actually should have really asked them to give me a better look at it, and I didn't. So I'll show you, like, although they look beautiful, if they're sitting on a shelf, the Australian sign's upside down. If that makes sense. So if you set them like that, so you could see that. So yeah, so I was not happy with that at all. And I would think as a printing company, they kind of could have picked that up, but they didn't. And basically what I do is I give them a picture for the front, the backs, the sides, what I want, and then they put it together. So that was just a little bit disappointing when I had these done, because they did cost me a lot of money. And I've had thousands of them printed. So lots of other stores and everything have said to me, look, we don't care, it doesn't really matter. Like, to them it's not important, but to me it's one thing I definitely did pick up on. And as I said, you know, when you're paying a lot of money, these are the kind of things that I guess we all need to sort of think about, don't we? And you don't, you sort of just think that these companies are going to get it all right for you. But anyway, I don't want to be a whinger, because like, I'm very happy with everything else. The price was pretty good. Now, to get boxes made, if you're looking at getting boxes made, honestly, there can be anything from 20 cents a box right up to $3.50 a box. It depends on how many boxes you're getting made, the dimensions of the box, because these are small boxes. They're only about 5 by 5 centimeters. If I actually had these boxes made up and they were bigger, they would have cost more. And if you get 10,000 boxes made, it's going to be much cheaper than getting 500 boxes made. So yeah, it's one of those things. And look, with some of my products, like my candles, I will actually have a box made and the whole box is going to look exactly the same, and I'm just literally going to put a sticker in the corner that's going to say the fragrance or you know, the scent. So that's something you can do. If your company's all purple, you can maybe just get them all purple. You can still have the print and the measurements and everything on it, and maybe just stick a sticker to say the color. But for these ones, they definitely look beautiful. If I'm able to sort of do this one as well. Another thing, I'll tell you another tip. This is the chamomile. Now, if you have a look at the white writing, it doesn't show very good on here. And that was a little disappointing as well. So next time I will remember that yellow needs to be a bit darker or more of a mustardy kind of yellow, rather than that. So yeah, so anyway, they're all things we learn, aren't they? But either way, I'm very excited that I'm in a position to be able to get boxes made, because I know lots of people would love them, and I would love all my products in them. I saved up to get this done, and then the next ones, which are the body butters, they're going to be in boxes. The same thing, I've saved up to get those done. So sometimes it's just one of those things, isn't it? You just have to try and save as much money as you can doing it. So that's why I do say on other videos, try and have other revenue streams, such as like Patreon or YouTube, anything that's going to, you know, you might have TikTok and you do sales on TikTok. You kind of need the sales to be able to step up, and that's the hardest thing. Without money, you're just kind of stuck in limbo and your business can't move forward. So it's really important to see what you can do to find those other revenue streams. Anyway, I hope you really have enjoyed today, and I hope I've given you some insight, a little bit about the process of how I make my shower steamers. You know, as I said, with the boxing and everything. I will leave my recipe down below. Do remember though, whatever country you're in may actually alter and change. Your recipe may change a little bit, or you may need to up the oils, or, you know, just up a tiny bit of witch hazel if it's a drier climate, and so on, because similar to bath bombs, they do, the humidity does affect the way they turn out. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it. Like I said, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Join me over on Patreon if you would like more information. And of course, I will see you friends on the next video. Bye friends. All finished and ready to go to their new home.